Hey business students, welcome. This video will let you know how you can effectively answer a 20-mark essay question. And there'll be tips on how to maximize marks, as well as an example towards the end. Do check out these other videos as they may be of use to you. I will put the link to them in the description box. For these 20 markers, the command word is evaluate. You must show balance in your answer. Typically, you're given two options, and you must show evaluation of both of these options. There'll be a tip for you at the end of the video, but here's one for now. Do not waffle in your 20-mark essays. Stay focused on the question. The 20 marker is found in all three papers, and there will be two 20 markers in each paper. So it's very important, crucial, that you really know how to answer it and how to gain those all-important marks. You could consider planning your answer. Now, this is a good idea because it allows you to be able to stay on track and to remember what your next point is and to give you a little bit of guidance to a certain extent. Your answer must be balanced. You will give arguments for and against option 1 and for and against option 2, and then have a clear and detailed recommendation based on the option that you've chosen. You cannot sit on the fence. You must decide what option, whether it's option 1 or option 2, and you've got to justify it. It should also be in context, but I will talk about the recommendation a bit more shortly. Apply your answer to the case study. Please do not ignore the case study. Your answer should really be contextualized and very much all about the case study and focusing on answering the question. It will be a short case study, but within that you need to be skilled enough to extract relevant information. So do not ignore the case study. Your recommendation is the final paragraph at the very end, and you're recommending your chosen option. So whether that's option 1 or option 2. It isn't necessary to write lengthy responses for 20 markers. The lines available in the booklet should be sufficient. And finally, you should include MOPS. You might wonder what MOPS is. Let's take a look. MOPS stands for Market, Objectives, Product and Situation. Now, this is not my acronym, so I'm not taking credit for it. However, it does appear in quite a few of the 20 marker mark schemes. So it's just something to be aware of. So let me just quickly go through some aspects of MOPS with you. Now, in regards to the market, you might give an example in your recommendation of the kind of market the business is in, whether it's in the tech industry, what kind of market, or who their competitors are. When it comes to objectives, do they have an objective to increase market share, increase revenue, increase their product range? So what kind of product do they sell? And the situation, perhaps consider their key stakeholders. Do they want to expand? What kind of situation are they currently facing? Now, you're not expected in your recommendation to use all aspects of MOPS. It is just helpful to use MOPS to encourage you to contextualize your recommendation. I would recommend you using one aspect of MOPS in your recommendation. Just a reminder to like, share, and subscribe, as I do post regularly. So we look at the question first so we know what we're going to look for within the case study. Morrisons aims to regain its market share. The two options the management are considering are either to cut prices further or to improve its overall experience. Evaluate these two options and recommend which option might be preferred by Morrisons shareholders. So here's a case study. Morrisons' improved performance. Morrisons' revenue and share price have increased for the first time in almost 4 years. As new boss, David Potts shared his vision for turning around the struggling supermarket. Since his appointment, he has replaced several of Morrisons' directors and sold off 140 of its convenience stores. Morrisons suffered from declining sales as a falling consumer incomes meant that shoppers moved their spending to the discounters such as Aldi and Lidl. David Potts responded to this by cutting prices with the "I am cheaper" campaign. Consumer research reveals that whilst cheap prices have an influence on supermarket choice, the overall customer experience, such as range and quality of products, store layout and service, all play a part. Changes in society, such as an aging population and more single-person households, have resulted in customers making more frequent grocery trips. Furthermore, consumer confidence has improved recently due to continued low interest rates and fall in energy prices. So we have our two options: cut prices further or to improve its overall customer experience. We need to write about the pros and cons of both of them. Also, we then need to give a detailed recommendation of one of the options, so we cannot sit on the fence. So in our recommendation, we either recommend cutting prices further or improving the overall customer experience. When we give our detailed recommendation, there are two acronyms that we can use. One of them is MOPS, and we will use one aspect of MOPS, and I will show you the other acronym soon. As we write our essays, it's important to also use the wording in the question. We're going to start our first paragraph off with evaluating cutting prices further. Cutting prices further might be seen as a preferred option by shareholders, as shoppers have moved their spending to the discounters. This may determine what supermarket a consumer might choose when budgets are tight. Morrisons' "I'm cheaper" campaign could therefore attract customers away from other rival supermarkets such as Lidl and Aldi. This could lead to an increase in revenue for Morrisons, which, assuming costs are managed well, would improve market share as consumers' real income is falling. However, lowering prices may convey to Morrisons' current customers and other consumers that the groceries they are selling are of poor quality in comparison to the likes of Tesco. In addition, in the short term, shareholders may not be happy with lower prices being offered, as they may be concerned that this strategy would put their investment at risk. So in our first paragraph, evaluating the first option, you can see that there was reference to the case study, analysis was shown. In addition to that, giving mention to the shareholders. On to our second paragraph, evaluating our second option. Morrisons could offer a range and higher quality groceries to improve its overall customer experience. This may result in Morrisons gaining a competitive advantage and attracting new customers to their stores. These may create a USP, and as a result, customers may be prepared to pay a higher price for the groceries as they have an improved experience whilst being there. This would please shareholders, as Morrisons may gain additional market share in the supermarket industry and move away safely from being a struggling supermarket. However, this strategy does not guarantee success. This new market may not decide to shop with Morrisons and be deterred by the increased prices. This may unsettle shareholders, and some may sell their shares, which will result in the share price for Morrisons falling. So again, we have application in our answer, we have analysis, we have evaluated it. We're starting off our evaluation by using words such as however, and we've also given mention to the shareholders again, because it's part of the question. On to our recommendation, our detailed recommendation. We're not going to sit on the fence. We're either going to choose option 1, cut prices further, or option 2, improve its overall customer experience. Now it's up to you which one you choose. You just need to ensure that you apply a jizzle to your recommendation as well as an aspect of MOPS. Let's just quickly explain what a jizzle is. So the A is answering the question, the J is justifying the point, the I is it depends on, S short term, L long term. So you might choose cut prices further, or you might choose improve its overall experience. Neither are wrong. it's how you justify it. In order to make sure that you have an effective recommendation that can help bring you into those higher grade boundaries, I suggest that you apply EDEXCEL and one aspect of MOPS. Onto our recommendation. Now, as I go along, you will see ticks appear next to the acronym EDEXCEL, where I have actually spoken about a particular aspect of it. So I'll be ticking it off. And the one aspect of MOPS as well, you'll see that ticked off. Overall, Morrison's shareholders would prefer management to cut prices further. This may also help with regaining market share. The growing market share of discount supermarkets show how important low prices are in attracting customers, and Morrison's need to cut prices in order to compete, which should increase sales volume. It depends on how loyal customers are to their current supermarket. They may be used to the layout and the produce in the discount supermarkets and may not want to switch to Morrison's that would be offering similar prices to what they're used to. In the short term, shareholders may not be happy with lower prices being offered, as they may be concerned about receiving less dividends. However, in the long term, this may be preferable to them, as Morrison's may increase profit and also market share in the supermarket industry. Here's a tip. Here's your tip. Relate each argument to the context. So when you're evaluating both options, ensure that your answers are very much in line with what's happening in the case study, very much in line with what's happening with business and or the industry. So it must be in context. Likewise with the recommendation as well.